Yerushalmi Megillah Daf Yud Zayin. So the two dots. Yochel Yehei Meshuach Melchama. Maybe Asir Seif. So yesterday we were talking about the replacement Kohen Gadol bringing the Asir Seif. We were talking about the Meshuach Melchama bringing the Asir Seif. You would think maybe brings the Asir Seif like a regular Kohen Gadol. Tamalayim, it says in Pasuk Tachto Mibonov. Eshebroi V'Tachtov, a position that's inheritable. He's the one who brings, maybe it's his Sefer Shalai. Yatz Meshach L'cham Hashem B'nai Ovid Tachtav. The Meshach L'cham is not an inheritable position. The son does not necessarily inherit the position. How do you know? Maybe he does inherit the position to his son. Tamalemi Yilbashem Hakoin Tachtav Mi Bonov. And the Pasuk goes on to say, Ashiyave El Oil Moed, L'Sharis B'Kodesh, Eshehu Bol El Moed, L'Sharis B'Kodesh B'nai V'Tachtav. The one who goes to the Oil Moed, the Kohen Gadol namely, is the one who gets to give the position over to his son. Yatz Meshuach Melchama, this excludes the Meshuach Melchama, that Shein Abo Lo Moyed L'Shoyes B'Kodesh, because he does not go to the Ol Moyed. Eimenoi Avatachto, so the son doesn't inherit the position. Minayin Shuv Mismana Kohen Gadol. How do you know that the Meshuach Melchama can become a Kohen Gadol? Well, maybe he's the Meshuach Melchama, and therefore you would think maybe it's not fit for him because he's in charge of war. The Kohen Gadol is supposed to promote peace. So, the Gemara says, "Pinchas ben Elazar nagid hoya aleihim lefanim Hashem imay." Pinchas ben Elazar was the nagid aleihim, and obviously he was the Kohen Gadol who was Marach Yamim. This is later on by the I think by the Maisa Plagish Begiva. So we see he was the Kohen Gadol, and we know that by Midian, Melchames Midian, he was the Meshuach Melchama. Rabbi Yosef had have a boy leminkter Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yosef, when he used to want to chepa his son, Rabbi Yosef. So Rabbi Lazar, when he wanted to chap his son Rabbi Lazar, and that's when in the Pnei Moshe says when he saw that Rabbi Lazar wasn't being as a kanoi as he should be, so obviously he compared him to Pinchas. Habamala lefanim imoi b'mei zimri micha b'mei pelash giva loy micha. Now at the time, Pinchas was a kanoi, and he was telling people what to do. There was Hashem was with him, but later on we see by the Maisa of baby by Pelagish Begiva, we don't see that Pinchas protested or said anything. So they were saying Hashem wasn't with him. So this to chap him if he wasn't being a kanoi. Reb Loz was being a kanoi the way he should be. He was saying, look where it says Hashem was with him. Nishal bishmaina. How do you know that when they ask bishmaina, when they ask the V'Tumim, it's done bishmaina begadim. That the Meshuvah Chacham wears bishmaina begadim. So Rabba Rav Chia, so Rabba Bachia, B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan says a big Kodesh Asher La'aron Yulavanov, Ma Talmud Loy Ma'acharov. Why be Lavanov? Obviously, Lavanov is Acharov. Actually, at the same time he's wearing it. El Gdulo Shalach means the second in command. And that will be referring to the Meshuach Melchama. So from here we see the Meshuach Melchama wears the Shemayin Begadim. Minayin Shahu. Now, so we see from over here. Now, when is this done? This is done when they're asking a question of the V'Tumim. So now the Gemara says over here, "Minayin shu'ovid b'shmayna." So over here we're saying that that Reb Ami was under the mistaken impression that this pasuk was brought this pasuk we just brought to tell me that it's nishal b'shmayna was actually the pasuk that was brought that he's ovid b'shmayna. So that there was a mistake Reb Ami made. So Reb Ami B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan says, "Big the kodesh shalom kohen yu levanav matam alay ma'acharov el gdulo shalacharov." Rabbi Yonah said to him, "No, Mincha Yisi, I was with you in share that day. Loyima oived elanisha." I didn't say oived. He said, "Not menashu oived b'shmayna elanishal b'shmayna." That when they asked the V'Tumim, the Meshach Melcham where's the shmayna got him. Now, Bameh hu oived. Now, the question is on the Meshach Melchama, can he serve as a regular kohen? Can he serve as a kohen gadol? So I see, and I guess it's similar to what we said yesterday with the replacement Kohen Gadol. I see Rabbi Shai Masnita the Kaparim in the Roman, so he brought a brisa about Kapara from the south. For ton of a Chacham Oimrim, Ein Kosher Lo Bishman Shekohen Gadol, Lo Ba'abo Shekohen Hedyot. So similar to the replacement Kohen, he cannot function not as a Kohen Gadol, nor does he function as a Kohen Hedyot. Amrabah bedinahai really shehei oived rabba really should be able to function at least as a kohen hedyot. Below meino oived. Why does the Mashiach Muhammad not serve as a kohen gadol? Shlo yomin people shouldn't say reinu kohen gadol palmim oived barba palmim hu sho oived b'shmain. People are going to say, oh, I don't know that guy. Yesterday he was wearing the shmaina begadim. They're not going to realize it's because he was nishal murmur to him. And today he's wearing the arba begadim, so he's functioning as a kohen hedyot. You see people go up and down. There's no seems to be no order here in of hierarchy. Amr Rabbi Yoina, v'loy mivfnim. So this is, I understand the reason doesn't make any sense. V'loy mivfnim hu oived, v'loy mivchutz nishal. Who's going to make a mistake? If you see that where you see him being nishal is bachutz. But remember, Tumah is being nishal bachutz. Where is he being oived? He's being mivfnim. Who would make a mistake like that? So, for the time being dava b'fnim l'bachutz, some make a mistake between something that takes place inside the base mikdash or outside. So Gemara says, yeah, actually, v'chiv Reb Tafrin avinu shel kol Yisrael. Tafrin was the gadol adah. Loi tob and tkiyas hakol tkiyas carbon. We see people. He made a mistake with tkiyas kohol hakel. Sorry, he's hakel and tkiyas carbon. What was his mistake? The Tani we learned of Bnei Aaron HaKoyanim yisku b'chatzaitzros. So we dash him from that pasuk. Tamimim v'loi bali moon. Who can blow b'chatzaitzros? Tamimim only kohen tamim. It was not about mum. Div Rebbe Kiva. Amalei Retav and sister Rebbe Kiva. Akaper Hezboneh. I'll cut off my sons. My son should drop dead. And Lo Risi Shimon Achi Ima. If I didn't see my uncle Shimon, was my mother's brother. He gave Achas Miraglo. He was lame one of his feet, so he had a mum. Oim Bazar, standing in the Azar. Chatzatzrosa biyad v'tekeya. And he's blowing. So what are you talking about that a Balmum can't blow? Rabbi Kiva, so Rabbi Kiva said to him, where did you see him? El b'shas hakel. You're talking about by hakel. Hakel is not avodah. And here b'shas hakarbon. But when they blew when the kahana blew the chatzaitzvus, that was when they brought a carbon. So over there, since it was related to the avodah, he can't be a Balmum. You're right. You're 100% right. You didn't go right or left, and others you got it 100% right. I saw the story myself and I forgot. You weren't there. You just dashing this from the psukim. It's like going away from life. The chiper, now the Gemara dashes chiper kind of shim shach oisai. Ma talmud loyim. What do I need it for? Lafisha kol parsha amura ba'aron ainli ala aron atzmoi. So I would think that since this whole parsha, this whole pasuk is essentially extra. It says we're talking about by the avodas Yom Kippurim, and I mean, we already have everything else described. So what's the v'chiper hakoyin? So the Gemara says this whole is talking about Aaron personally. So ainly Aaron Atzmoi. So I would think maybe this is going on only Aaron himself. How do I know that it also comes to include the replacement kohen gadol when Aaron is no longer with us? That he'll be anointed. In other words, say he's the new kohen gadol. So Gemara says, but so I see from here, okay, if he has Mashuach B'Shem Mishcha, what about Hamrum Begadim? Let's say by Sheni, Minayin, Tamaloim Vashi Malis Yadai. It's Vashi Malis Yadai. And Pasik actually refers to Meruba Begadim, is referred to in using the same words. In the Chaim brings down a big kodesh Aaron Yulavon of Acharav Lamashcha Behem Uli Male Bamas Yadim. So we see from here that Milo Yad is considered to be Meruba Begadim. Minai L'Rabbis Kohen Hamismana. How do I know that the Kohen, the replacement Kohen on Yom Kippur, how do we know he also does the Avodah? Knows what is his mina over here? Tamalo B'Chiper HaKohen. So it's B'Chiper HaKohen, and so we see Mikal Malkim knows even without anything else. Just B'Chiper HaKohen, he's appointed. B'Ameo Mesmana, what are you appointing him with? So so again, Reb Chaim explains the question of it really is B'Ameo Mesmana is if let's say, right, he's not right where we said this replacement kohen is not a Meshuach. He's also not Meruba Begadim. Especially if it happened after the Tamid Shel Shach. Let's say the Kohen Gadol got a mum, but it was after the Tamid Shel Shach on Yom Kippur in the morning. So the next avodah is done with the big day love and adding the Shemana Begadim. So really, b'mei u'smana. Rabban Akiz Moshe Rechia by Yosef said the replacement Kohen is Ismana B'peh. They just tell him now you are the Kohen Gadol. Amr Absura Dom Shemimanim Zikenu Epe. We see from over here, Kimimana Zakin, in other words, a, a dayan is bepay even. You don't have to do anything else. Amr Chia bar Adam Asnita Amr Kain. We see this from a Mishnah in Ovis. Chazor b'cho about Vam the Gecham said to Akavi b'Malala, the famous machlokes over there. Um, and by the Dal Dvarim, and they said, listen, if you chayz on these four things, sheisa aimer, that you held your shita, we're asking you to be chayz. V'nasach av bezin will appoint you the av bezin. So you see from over here, all that's required, right? Because all they're telling Akabi Mamalal is that all he has to do is say, hey, I don't agree with the things my former positions. I disavow them, and now that's it. And I'm the av bezin. So you see, by appointment, by verbal appointment alone, that's good enough. Sagt der Mishnah ein beim Bama Gedola Bama Ketana El Psachim. A Bama Gedola is would be by Nov and Givoin, the public Bama. Bama Ketana is a Bama that people built in their backyard when there was Het Abamis. So the only thing you couldn't bring on the Bama Ketana in your backyard was Psachim. The Korban Pesach you had to go to the Bama Gedola. Zaklal, this is the rule. Kosher Nida V'Nidav Karbe Bama. Anything that you could bring as a neder or as an adava, that you bring in your own private bama. Choshen loy nidav. Note that it's a chiv on the tzibah to bring eine karba bama. That would obviously include, like we said, psachim. Zuktig mar Rabbi Yochanan avat lashon in a polak loy nachzel beis v'adam in Sarah. Rabbi Yochanan, after Rish Lakish died, he was very depressed, and for 3.5 years didn't come to the marriage. B'seifa, at the end of 3.5 years, Chama Rabbi Elazar b'chilmei, Rabbi Elazar sees in a dream lamacha sinai nachas. Tomorrow Sinai, referring to Rabbi Yochanan, is going to come to the Bismedish, and Mechadas L'chaim Mila is going to tell you a Chiddush. Oh, v'ama kumein. So sure enough, Rabbi Yochanan shows up to the Bismedish, and he says, Me'echan kashet ha-kashet ha-zeh shetei avoida be'chayros. Where do we see that the avodah was b'chayris ever? Right? We know that the avodah before that it was given to the kahanim and the levim was done by the b'chayris. So I'm going to then carry from this passage. It says ki li kol b'char b'yoyim ha'kosi kol b'char be'eretz Mitzrayim u'ksiv b'chol lehei Mitzrayim es ha'shvatim. So we see that Kadosh Baruch Hu was koine every b'char for himself by makas b'chayris. Koim Lechein. So, according to according to Rechaim Kanievsky, the Koim Lechein is referring to before Matan Torah. According to the Kabbalah B'nai Moshe, means what was going on before Makas B'chayris. Who did the Me'oisen? I think the bottom line is, before there was an official appointment, what did they do? So, knows who did that avodah? So, it says, "Vatikach Rivka as big the Esav b'na gadol hachamudais asher ita babois." It says, right, by the Birchas Yaakov, it says that Rivka took took her big day Esav's clothing, achamudes. Mao chamudes, what achamudes? So the Gemara says, Shahoy mishamish bekuhuna gedola. He was the Kohen Gadol Esav. And Yaakov bought it from him, and Yaakov took the clothing. That's where Yaakov ended up with it. Amr Levi, Shiva Hashem Mati Rishon, Elu Abachayos. Hashem broke the staff of the Rishon. Who's that referring to? Elu Abachayos Shekrivu Le'egel Tchila. That's referring to the Bechoris who went. Who That's referring to the that the Bechoris who went and they worshipped Egel. Hashem broke the matter, and the matter is referring to the matter kuna. So that's what they lost. That's what that's where the Bechor lost the right to do the avodah.